Hey everybody, welcome to my first look here at Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game 3. Big thank you to Milestone for flying me out to the Monster Energy Cup to enjoy a little bit of Vegas and take a peek at the new game. A lot of other YouTubers were there. Kellen from Start Your Systems, his wife Hannah, as well as Tylin, Donut, other guys that I just met like Fail Race, Vroom Vroom Dana was there. Just a good group of people. And really just enjoyed my time there, as you can imagine. But I have some good things, some bad things to say about the game, and hopefully just a real opinion for you guys to base your purchase off of. I will say it is a bit positive. It's pretty fun, it's really enjoyable, and it does have some changes over previous titles that I think a lot of people should be pretty excited about. But here's a look at the list of riders. We're going to hop in as Corsair, but first we're going to take a look at those race options just to show you guys kind of what we're dealing with. Physics, obviously you have your advanced or standard. We're going to go advanced. Joint brakes off, rider weight manual, transmission manual. I won't use rewind, and then I turned the flow aid off. AI difficulty I believe is on medium. I can't see it right now, but you know, so the AI wasn't too challenging. We really did have a great time playing this game, and I think I could almost speak for everyone. We all played it and looked at each other and went, oh wow, you know, it's pretty good. There definitely are some changes that really, I think, fix some of the issues we had in previous versions of the game. So, like I said, Corsair, we did have 2 tracks to play. It was Houston and Anaheim 1. This is a look at Houston. Kind of a generic lap here. There's no sound on the first 2 clips. They're pretty short, and then we'll get some nice sound. You can see this track is a little bit more flowy, a little bit easier than Anaheim 1. Launching that wall. Kind of your standard setup. Using my rear brake to rotate the bike through corners. Little sandy section there. I was slowing up here, but you can slam through that wall and still get over it. Something to note. One thing that's a little bit different for me is with preload, if you want to use the right stick, you lean back, it'll give you kind of your normal preload. If you lean both sticks back, you can get a bigger preload. And I can say in most situations, like right there, I think I used it, it pops you pretty high in the air, and in most cases, it will end up being really not an advantage. It'll put you at a disadvantage. But it can get you out of a pickle, which is kind of nice, especially for a title like this that's a little bit more arcadey and driven at kind of the general public. I think we all know that at this point, and I think it's a good feature. It works out pretty well. Whips, in-air physics, I don't do a great job of showcasing it, to be honest with you, but a couple of the other guys were throwing some pretty sweet whips, and you can get them right. They are a little bit different. It is a reworked whip system. It is a canned whip, but you do have a little bit more movement in the air if you want to just go with one stick and move your bike. You can throw some little stylish whips, a little bit more extreme than in previous titles, and I think it is definitely an improvement, but it is kind of your canned whips. Nothing to get too pumped about there. Here's a look at Anaheim 1. Definitely a technical track, very, very hard to get through here with that perfect rhythm. There's 2 rhythms here that are just a massive, massive challenge. The way the cornering feels, I think, is pretty positive. Again, there's just overall more weight to the bike this time around. You need to plan a little bit farther ahead. You need to really prepare yourself going into the corner, but for the most part, it's kind of that same style. It's that same feel of the previous games, just really dialed in a little bit more. The one thing I do like is I think they got rid of a lot of the ways that you can kind of cheat the game. It's a little bit more strict. You can't get away with really manipulating the physics of the game to make you go faster than you really should have gone. It's pretty cut and dry. What you do is kind of what you get. But we did have a ton of fun running hot laps. The whole group, we went back and forth with times. Kellen ended up winning the hot lap challenge. But take a look at Ralph Shaheen and Carmichael playing each other here.
That's all he wanted right there.
That is it. I will never play a video game again. I am done. That is it. Game's over. Smoke the go, baby.
So it was pretty sweet. to be able to watch a whole bunch of pro riders from Barsha Plessinger to Alex Ray, Seven Deuce Deuce, Benny Bloss. Just the whole group was out there playing the game, and we all got to hang out with them and really watch it. But it was great watching Ralph run a faster lap time than Carmichael and talk a little bit of shit. But yeah, again, just great experience. I can't stress that enough. But this game really did something to me, and I think the whole crew kind of said the same thing. We wanted to run those hot laps and compare, and we kept going and going and going. And I didn't feel that way with other games. I had fun with them, but I didn't want to just grind and try to get that perfect lap, because it's challenging. It actually is hard to get that perfect lap through some of these rhythms, especially on this track. You can see it's got some technical stuff to it, but when you get into that flow, it feels really sweet. You're using that back brake, rotating into those bowl corners, and just getting into a groove. I think that's something I always talk about, but when you get into the groove, in this game especially, it just feels nice. It feels like you're really making forward progress, and you're cruising, and you're really on a mission. And that sounds pretty corny, but really what I'm getting at is the only way you're going to be fast in this game, more so than previous titles, is if you really focus on things like momentum and you're not using the preload. You're just hitting the corner perfect before it, and then you're staying low to the ground, getting that power down. And that's where it's nice. It's an arcadey game, but there's a lot of options out there. If you want to go really fast and you want to be really good at it, it does take a lot of skill. Honestly, it takes a lot of skill to run those perfect laps and keep that momentum really high. And it's kind of nice. It's kind of why Reflex and some of those other games have been successful over the years, because yeah, it's an arcadey game, but the guys that are really good are making it look pretty sick. And that's definitely how this game is, more so than 2 or 1. So again, I think you can see me getting into a little bit more of a rhythm here. Again, this track, I don't think I got a great lap recorded of this where I hit every rhythm right, but you can kind of see it where you just get into that flow and you're charging, and man, it does feel good. I think the biggest stuff is the rider weight. The weight of the bike is really a game changer to me here. It means you do have to plan ahead for those corners. You do need to be careful how you go up the launch of a jump, because you're not going to be able to just yank it one way and go all the way to the other side of the track. So anyway, I know there was no audio there, so it's kind of a bummer, but here I'll show you a solid clip here of just great audio, and you can see that side of the game and hopefully see a little bit closer. The one thing I'm going to do here at this point, since I've blabbed quite a bit, is show you guys really what some of the main features they're pushing here with this game. Obviously, every year there's some additional features and some fixes to physics and things like that. Maybe not fixes, how about improvements? But I'm going to run through just the big bullet point stuff here from the press release. The game will be released on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Windows, PC, Steam, Google Stadia, and Nintendo Switch. Now, the release date is for February 4th, so that's coming up real quick, so everybody's going to be able to get their hands on it here in just a couple months. But it's going to have 100 riders from both 450 Supercross and 250 Supercross classes, 15 official stadiums and tracks, and for the very first time in this series, it'll allow players to choose between a sponsored team or an official Supercross team of the 2019 championship in career mode. So that's a big one. A lot of people have been asking about that. I've seen a million comments. Why can't we get onto a factory team? Well, now you can. So that should be pretty sweet, and you can be a teammate with your favorite Supercross rider. That should be pretty sweet. I think a lot of people wanted that. So I'm glad they're listening to the community and trying to make changes to try to make everybody happy. So that's really great. Let's see. Players can now also race in a co-op mode with their three friends, choosing different game modes in the replica of the legendary factory Supercross practice tracks in California. So it'll be a huge free roam area with 9 tracks that are all like the team's practice tracks, which is pretty sweet. That's where all the OEMs go and compete and practice there, actually. Typo, but practice for their Supercross and test their bikes. So that's pretty sweet to be able to have that option, and it should be a pretty sick compound. We'll wait to see more details on that. I didn't get to get my hands on the compound yet, but online multiplayer mode with dedicated servers. So that's a huge one to get rid of some of the lag and some of the issues I think some of the other games have had on launch. So that's a big one as well. I think they're, again, listening to people. Now, to go with that, there is race director mode. So you can create amazing online tournaments, deciding from the players' starting positions to assigning penalties or choosing which cameras to focus on. Really what that means is it's kind of more towards esports. I actually asked one of the developers, it's like, is this a move towards esports? He said no, but he also kind of alluded at, obviously these are some of the tools that make things like that better. What he was really pushing was it'll be great for streaming, and that's something that I'm definitely going to do with this game. It should be really fun to do the race director mode and get a bunch of subscribers in, hold a little tournament, and the winner can get a prize of some kind. That's something that's on my mind and something that you should expect coming towards or on the channel here soon. But really that race director mode is going to be an interesting one to check out. But you're going to have public and private lobbies, so that's always nice. And with them being dedicated, they will be really nice. It'll be interesting to see how that race director mode goes. Let's see. Track editor, basically they've added a bunch of different objects. It'll be interesting to see everything that's in there. They did say 53,000 tracks were created by the community in the last game, so that's crazy. But new stadium items to customize the track in a unique way. New aesthetic customization items such as tough blocks, finish gates, and leader pillars. So just objects to put around on the track. So that's pretty sweet. Couple interesting things about visuals and physics here. Rider and secondary character models have been completely remade from scratch with photo scanning that now features a new set of animations. So new animations, and because of the new model system, it allowed them to add a female rider. So now you can ride as a female if you'd like to. And the next one is really revised particles, so fireworks, flames. That's cool, but what really matters is dry and wet ground are now more detailed and realistic, and I can tell you it did look pretty nice. I didn't get to see anything really wet, but obviously we know that's coming. I can tell you the game looks great, as you would expect. No complaints there. On the gameplay side, physics have been completely revised to be adapted to the new riders' animations, and new in-air bike control system has been implemented to improve bike handling during jumps. So again, I think there's some pros and some cons there. I'm glad they're listening to the community for a lot of this stuff. It's pretty clear that they're listening and trying to make adjustments that people will care about. And they can only do so much, let's be real. The game is very similar to previous titles. Again, I think the bike is a little bit heavier. It does move around a little bit different in the air, but nothing drastic. I think the biggest thing to take away there, it feels like a dirt bike. It's not as floaty as it may look. And because of that, it makes it where you can't just cheat the system, and you really do need to get through the track cleanly to have a fast lap. Otherwise, really, I think this is a buy as far as I'm concerned, and I do not say that because I was able to go to Las Vegas. That's honestly the feeling that I get. No, going into it, it's going to be like Madden, where it's just some updated stuff, some new features. But these do make a big difference. It does change it and make it a little bit more enjoyable of an experience. You can enjoy all the new tracks, the new riders from the 2019 season, which is pretty sick. And then there's even more features to come that we don't know about yet. So my opinion is it's a good pickup, a good buy, but go into it expecting kind of what we had before, just a little bit more refined and with the 2019 season. It will be a good game, and like I can say, or like I said, really the biggest thing is we all wanted to crank out a ton of hot laps. And I've never felt that way with this game. It's challenging, it's tough, and it rewards kind of the hardcore players to really put in some serious lap times. So anyway, that's my first look at the game. Hopefully we'll have a little bit better of a review before launch to give you some more details and more opinions. Take this for what it is, but again, thank you, Milestone, and thanks to all the other YouTubers that were there. It was great to spend some time with everybody, and thank you. I will talk to you later. Peace out.